Canada is facing a shortage of qualified foster parents, forcing some provinces to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on group homes in order to compensate and provide care. About 62,000 children are in foster care right now across Canada. So for a closer look at what's being called a crisis and some possible solutions, we're joined by Ethel Wenzel. She's the director of the Federation of Foster Families in Nova Scotia. Cecile Brooks, who's the president of the Foster Parent Society of Ontario, and Lucas Medina, a former foster child. All are our guests on the panel this morning. Thanks so much for being here, all of you.
Good morning.
All right, first of all, I want to start by showing some numbers to people, just to get a sense of what we're talking about when we say crisis. This shows the shortage of foster families right across the country. There's 1,000 children need homes in BC right now, and in Newfoundland, we see more than 6,000 children who are in the system with only 640 registered homes. Ethel, I'm going to start with you. You've been fostering for 26 years. You yourself have taken in more than 100 children. Tell me about your concerns when you see these numbers.
Well, I realize that we need more foster homes. We do have 570 foster homes in Nova Scotia, and we have 1,050 children in care. Some are in group homes, and like the other provinces, we do need more foster homes, so we'd be happy to get more.
You know, it's easy.
I don't think it's a crisis here.
There are members who are calling this a crisis from some of the national boards. Cecile, here in studio, I want to take our viewers through what are the steps to becoming a foster parent. It is a little bit of a mystery for some people, and I wanted to give them a sense of, we have a graphic to show them, of what the process that people have to go through. So the first off is the inquiry. People saying, hey, I'm interested in becoming a foster parent. I want to help out.
Right. And then a worker would come and do a home visit. And then there is a foster parent assessment called SAFE, or the acronym Structured Analysis Family Evaluation, and a vulnerable police check. So it takes some months and visits before you would receive, and training, pre-service training, before you would become a foster parent.
As a parent, I think that this is good protections in place. Some people say that this can be a hindrance to parents who are looking to foster.
It could appear to be daunting, but then if you were a biological parent, you'd want to know that your child is being placed with someone who had gone through all of this screening.
Lucas, I want to check in with you. You're somebody who has lived in the system. You know firsthand what some of the concerns are.
Yes.
Tell us your experience, and you now work with as an advocate for foster kids. So tell me what you experienced and what you're concerned about, what you want to see changed.
My experience was not great. It wasn't great. I didn't move between a lot of foster homes, but I ended up in a kind of mediocre foster home that ran under the system.
This is you at how old?
Oh, that was me at 3.5. So I was in and out of foster care at that point.
Already at 3.5?
Yes, yeah, from infancy. And then went in permanently when I was 7 and became a Crown Ward, and aged out and moved out on my own when I was 17.
Based on your experience and some of the stories that you've now heard from other kids who have been in and left the system, where are the areas that you see need the most help?
Well, I think outcomes, too. I think there's a strong focus on getting youth in care to their 18th birthday, and not on what happens after that. So, the high school graduation rate in Ontario for Crown Wards is 44%. The general population is 88. So half.
Less than half of the kids are graduating.
Yeah. And you don't have the supports when you're in foster care that you would have by most families. You don't have the opportunities to partake in volunteer activities or internships, because you have to work and earn money to pay for things, because you don't have spending money.
Well, let's bring up, that's a really interesting point. So there are foster families are provided money by whichever provincial government is allotting that to them, and those are supposed to provide for the needs of the child.
Yeah.
Was that your experience?
Not my direct experience. I always say, foster parents are like teachers. I think if you haven't been in foster care, you can look back to your experience in school, and you can think of a couple of really great teachers you had, and some not so great teachers, and a lot that kind of fell in between. And there are exceptional foster parents who've gotten into foster care because they really are motivated to help youth and children who are in care. And there's some people who get into it for income. In Ontario is different than other provinces where if you have 4 kids in one room in Ontario, you get 4 times the daily rate. Mm-hmm. In Quebec, you get a kind of a prorated amount for each youth so that it doesn't incentivize people to become foster parents to more kids to earn more money. But there really is a shortage, there is a crisis in Ontario, and it's going to expand over the next year as this new act replacing the Child and Family Services Act comes into place and raises the age of protection from 16 to 18. Mm-hmm. There are going to be 1,600 more kids coming into foster care in the next year than they anticipated. And as they've moved away from group care and they've been shutting down a lot of group homes, not anticipating this legislative change, there is a major shortage of beds in Ontario, and that's going to be a crisis over the next year.
I want to get to the shortages, and Ethel, I want to bring you in. We see a severe shortage out in Atlantic Canada, foster homes in Labrador in particular, because 1/3 of those kids end up in foster care hundreds of kilometers outside. So give us a sense of what needs to be done for shortages in that area.
Well, I think that we have to have faster training for foster parents. It takes up to 2 years in our province, and people don't want to wait that long. They're worried about the concerns of the children with higher needs, and a lot of times both parents work, so it's hard to have the time and money, and they're concerned about the support that they will receive. And so we have to improve on some of these things to get more foster parents involved. A lot of parents that are taking the training want to adopt children because I think they're afraid of the attachment and then giving up the child. So we do have more people coming to adopt children, which is a good thing.
Cecile, the shortages, the national bodies have called this a crisis. So is the solution to throw more money at it, to give more money to parents and hope to either incentivize people to make up some of that shortage? What do you think a solution would be?
I don't think that people are actually get into it for the money. I mean, when you look at the rate in Ontario, the regular rate would be $31.78 per day. So that's before expenses and things. And then there's clothing allowance for the children. And so when you divide that by 24 hours, and that's prior to expenses, I don't think you can say that people are doing it for the money. However, I think that people come into it to make a difference, hopefully to make a difference. And those people that stay in that system do that. When we talk about graduation rate of Crown wards and things, we also have to factor in that there's a large segment of those children that might be special needs. So they would not be graduating in the same manner. So sometimes you have to look beyond the statistics and look at the outcomes. And there has been a very big push by the province in Ontario, I want to say for the last 10 years, on positive outcomes for children, and a lot of legislative changes to try and ensure that.
This is a conversation I would love to keep going because I think there's a lot of layers and it deals with the care of the kids in our country. I want to thank you, Lucas, for being here this morning, Cecile, you as well, and Ethel for joining us from Nova Scotia. Thank you so much. If you'd like more information on how to become a foster parent, if you're curious about how you can help, you can visit our website, yourmorning.ca.